drifts through space. As you stare out at the star-flecked void, another ship comes in. Wait, is this sci-fi? I thought we agreed on a World War II campaign. Oh. Did we? That's cool. I can pivot. The smell of smoke curdles in your nostrils. Hold up, I thought we were prepping for a zombie apocalypse campaign. Alright, here's what we're doing. It's the year 3700. Humanity's elite fled to other planets long ago, taking with them all forms of advanced technology. Earth survivors scrape by with historic tools as weird phenomena plague abandoned nuclear sites. Witnesses report seeing glowing lights and the dead rising from their graves. And amidst the chaos, 3 strangers will meet in a dim bar. A veteran zombie slayer, a disgraced general out for revenge, and a space mercenary sent to investigate the power plants. Now describe your characters. How did you do that? I have the right tools for the job. They're counting on you. Against all odds, we've made it this far. But we both know that the old ways aren't going to work this time. This journey has changed us, changed you. But it's not over yet. You need the right tools for the job.
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
Live. Oh wait, I gotta refresh. We're live. I gotta refresh. All right, I think we're live. Yes, we are live. We are in Batting Park. That is where we are. We're not in Batting Park. That's a neighborhood in Aufstrag that I finished up today, and it's where the seamstresses would flay the skin off of visitors to Aufstrag and deliver it to the sewing room, where it would be cast into various forms for the devil Malak, Beelzebub, and other of Unklar's minions. So that was my work today on Aufstrag. Hello, everybody. I am Stephen Chenault. This is, I don't know what day it is. It's May 6th, 2025, and this is Ask Me Anything. And I clearly need a shave. There you go.
I did.
Yeah.
This morning. My wife, I woke up this morning. My wife said, "Are you not ever going to shave?" I said, "Well, yeah. I just, I've changed the days when I stream, and yours is I'm usually behind the camera, so I was just being whatever." She didn't like it too well.
There you go. Johan, we sounded like a family gathering to me. I've been inspired by that video game, Little Nightmares. I don't know if you ever watched any of that playthrough, but I'd recommend you go watch it before you run any horror game.
That's a horrific game, man.
It's. Have you played it? I've never.
No, I don't play. I don't play games like this. I'm a little bitch. I don't play games like that. I don't. Oh my gosh.
It is creepy, and I think it captures that perfect. I don't know. It just kind of captures it without being over the top or whatever. It's made me actually want to write for Amazing Adventures to do an actual ruined cityscape like that, like Chernobyl-esque cityscape.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Where you're just adventuring through it. So
when all of a sudden you hear Tin Cup Tom in the background or some shit with you.
Oh my God! What did I watch last night? I saw King Kong. No, Skull Island. I don't know what I saw, and I watched the Godzilla King Kong thing.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is okay. Whatever. Cool.
I
Western
can't
film.
bring myself to watch it. I can't do it.
I don't know what movie pieces I watched, but King Kong was fighting all these dogs and it was goofy as hell. And then there's this King Kong's got a robot arm, and then he fights the giant Yeti, and I don't know what the hell.
That's a mashup or something. I don't know.
It was terrible. It was absolutely
Or
terrible.
was it really?
Death Angel Center asks, will the engineering books be available in a bundle, or perhaps there are more coming? Davis is working on engineering towns right now. Engineering towns will build on engineering villages. Some of it will be the exact same text. Probably 20% will be the same text that appears in villages because it's the same stuff. But he's going to shift the focus. Whereas villages was supply and personnel, towns will be more on walls, guards, military assets, towers, streets, stuff like that. The focus will shift somewhat, but yes, we definitely have more coming. I need to get with him and find out where his progress is on that.
Death Angel's. He's a big fan of our bundles.
Bundles
He's a
are
bundle
good.
shopper.
Yeah, bundles are good, and we've watched as soon as Engineering Villages released. So many people jumped on the other two because they didn't know they were there, and it's one of those things. So bundles are a very, very good thing. But this is Ask Me Anything. If you have any questions for Troller Games, for me, for Chuck, for products we're doing, Kickstarters, crowdfunding, BTT, I don't know what else we got going on around here. The building that we're building.
The building that we're building for the Tome of the Tombs of the Tomes. We're going to.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Frugal is a good word, Death Angel. It's a very good word. And I think it's not used nearly enough by people in our society. And the nice thing is that our products here at Troller Games are quality products. So if you purchase them, you're going to get something for your money. It's not going to fall apart.
Amen.
We will fix it.
See, KevCon asks, Rules question, is there a CNC equivalent of a coup de grace?
The coup de grace being the death strike? Is that what?
Well,
is that what
you've got a bunch of dudes down, you've tied them up. Do you really want to go through rolling the dice, or you just let them?
Oh no, we don't have it. There's no equivalent to that. You gotta either role play through it, or you combat through it. I mean, you can say, and he kills you all, or you gotta pick the dice up. And I would recommend that you pick the dice up because there's a chance that you've tied up the 4 characters you tied up. They're going to die, and there's a chance that one monster is going to roll a 1. He's going to drop his dagger, and maybe the character can lunge for it and try to grab it. And I bring you to the world of The Walking Dead when Rick is about to get his throat cut, and there's an explosion. People start running, and then Rick manages to break free and kill a whole bunch of people. So I would not do a coup de grace.
I see now. I didn't know where you were going at first with that. I got you. Okay.
No, well, that's what he does. I mean, and he's got like a strip of like a broken splinter of a board in his boot. He pulls it out, stabs the guy. Then once he stabs the guy, he's able to cut his bonds on a piece of metal, and then he kills another guy and frees all his friends, and they start killing everybody. So I would not. I would play through the coup de grace. You never know.
Really? That's interesting. That's interesting. I'll have to rethink that one then. I usually just hand wave it and say, all right, you kill him, we move on, I get it.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen. Those dice are horrible, horrible things.
Just like Unclar. Anyway, moving on.
Yes.
Torlock says, question, what can you tell us about the timeline of Inclunade?
That's a Chuck question. I'm not sure where he is on that project. Probably not very far.
Farther along than you think, but I'm not saying shit for a while.
Good. Excellent.
Be good. I'm gonna be quiet because I know better. I'm learning.
It's best to be quiet until you're at the finish line.
What's the term? Brevity, blah, blah. I can't remember the word.
Yes,
that's
a lost art of brevity.
Yeah, there'll be, it's kind of funny, Steve. At some point, I was going to ask you about this since he brought this up, and you can answer what you want to with him, but at some point, I do want to, at somewhere farther along the line, have us a little stream where we're sitting there just talking about that, because I do have lots of questions. I think it would be cool for the
that'd be cool. Yeah.
For the viewers.
I really still want us to do an aired stream. I think an aired specific stream.
Yeah, we got to do that, man. We got to.
It should follow Grace's readings on Monday, and we do that. And Death Angel, that's what I was talking about. The coup de grace against the PCs. Because if your orc rolls a 1, maybe that PC has a chance to do something.
I was talking about it versus the monsters. Like you got a
I
bunch
think
of.
it goes both ways.
It goes
I mean,
both
if the
ways.
monsters are all on the ground and you walk up and you try to, coup de grace 1, you roll a 1, slip and fall, and that monster turns around and bites you in the ankle and starts grabbing your ass. You just never know.
You're not wrong. Yeah. So what can you say just real quickly about the timeline of Inclinate? Something. I mean, I know we can't deep dive into it, but I will say this much: out of all the timelines in the book, it's probably one of the shortest because it's a lot of unknown, right?
Now, clarify what you mean by the timeline of Uncle
I'm assuming he's talking about what's in the Codex of Aird. There's
So
there's bits and
they
pieces in the main one that people pull from, right? That have just mentioned
So,
that.
so Inklu is, I haven't written very much about it, but it's settled early on, way back in the Woebegone days of the Dwarven kingdoms is when they begin settling and building and whatnot. There's no Dwarven kingdoms down there, so they kind of develop on their own. There's trade with the Dwarven kingdoms, but there's no there'd be representatives and maybe some small, outposts the dwarves built, something like that. But by and large, the people of Inklu developed on their own, doing their own kind of thing. It's very loosely, for those who don't know, it's part of Eridan. It's very loosely based on Mesoamerican architecture and that type of stuff. And that type of people and blah, blah, blah. So they develop on their own. They have their own sorcery, their own gods. Though with Eridan, of course, keep in mind, all of the gods are everybody's gods. They're just named differently. They're called differently in different cultures. So Odin and Jupiter and Zeus are really the same. Probably, I would say those 3 knuckleheads. Probably Corthane, maybe. I don't know. Odin would probably not be Corthane, but you'd have to line that stuff up on your own. We've actually done that for Jay's Altamira campaign. We've already kind of lined up the Greyhawk deities with the air deities. So
That's interesting. I remember that now.
Yeah, so the England-Naiad gods, they would be the same kind of gods they would be the same Valar Kun, just different names and probably different likenesses because the gods manifest in different ways to different people, blah, 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 blah.
Some of them might look like a big snake. Who knows?
Right, yeah. And you got to keep in mind that for the Valar Kun and the Val Osterlit, snakes aren't evil. These are things that are in our own cultures here on Earth. But there in the air, it's a whole different ballgame. So the snake may not necessarily be evil. It may. It just kind of depends on its depiction and blah, blah, blah. But so in the timeline, when the Winter Dark happened, so they develop on their own. They are conquered by the Enochians before the Winter Dark. They don't overthrow the Enochians, but when the Enochian Empire disintegrates, the kingdom of England continue to develop and do whatever they're doing. And there's dozens of them. And you got to think of it just like you would think of any kind of 5,000-year period of humans doing stuff. Kingdoms rise and kingdoms fall, all of that stuff. When the Winter Dark shows up, Alstrag, of course, Unklar conquers everything. Unklar is part of that. I can't remember now offhand which archdevil took control of that. But one of the archdevils commanded it. There were 7 of them, and they commanded all. Nulak's Den had that map behind me, and the rest were parceled out with the devils, and they were controlled. There's a whole rod thing, the rods of rulership, blah, 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 blah. That's all buried in the codex, blah, blah, blah.
I don't remember. Never mind. I don't remember that being related to Include. Now I'm really curious. Now you got me. I'm going to go back and read again. Fuck.
So Aristobulus, the Valtumf, the god, he actually hides himself in Unklar as a snake god, if I recall. Yes. And he actually begins the rebellion against Unklar there. So in Unklar, it's one of the first active areas of rebellion because of Aristobulus. He's there. How does Grace say it? Aristabulus, which I think is just really cool.
I call it Estrabulus.
Yeah, I think it's cool how everybody pronounces it different. I think it's great.
No, it's cool.
But anyway, so he raises them in rebellion, and there's constant. You can't think of Unklar's rule as this constant, perfect, lawful evil. There's constant rebellions and constant civil wars, constant defeats. Unklar spends himself frequently destroying his enemies, and he has to go rest for like 90 years. And while he's doing that, his minions rise or his enemies rise or whatever. So Unklar has a very rich heritage of rising and falling under the Winter Dark business. Now, once the wars begin and the Council of Light gathers together and begins to drive him off, Unklar throws off the remnants of what was down there very, very, very quickly.
Now, if I remember correctly, whenever he first turns his attention to Estrabulus, it's scorched earth policy. He sends down low bay orcs and all kinds of shit, doesn't he? Right?
Yes. Yeah. He attempts. Well, that's kind of his approach to everything. Kill everything. Burn it all down because
You're
he doesn't
gonna
care
fuck
about
with me,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What is when I tried to leave and they pulled me back in or whatever.
Yeah.
That type of bullshit. But
Yeah, and I missed
so
it.
England it overthrows Alfstrag's mess pretty quickly and immediately begins its own trajectory.
Oh, I see. He put in here the age of Alante unknown dash pre 2000 YWD.
So
That's interesting.
yeah, so that's going to be probably one of their periods of thriving. So the Age of Atlantis is where the dwarven sea
They were going across the ocean and all that shit,
yeah,
right?
sea-bearing dwarves, and they're the only ones who really trade with the Unclanaya. And the dwarves of Atlantis were extraordinarily advanced with all kinds of gadgetry and magic and all of that stuff. So they took that definitely to Unclanaya. And it was a very rich trade between the two. So there would probably be, as big as that continent is, easily a dozen different kingdoms down there that would rise and fall over time, conquer one. Like the Aztec and the Mayan.
Same, no difference. And you got the Spanish folk rolling in, the conquistadors and all that bullshit.
That would be your Austragian idiots, right? They show up.
Or Enotians, one of the two.
Or Enotians. Yeah, the Enotians would have done it before that too. Yeah, the Enotians are very special because they've got sort of Narhite in the pocket. Now Narhite knows he's in the pocket, and he did that very intentionally. So the Enotians have a whole different trajectory.
Very arrogant.
That's why. Well, they're arrogant, and he teaches them. Whereas the other peoples of Erd are worshiping gods and getting power, the Narhite teaches the Enotians that no, the gods are just tricking you. They can't give you anything. You have to learn this power on your own. And they do. So while the others are intermediaries to godlike powers, which are, touch and go at best, the Enotians, they're the wizards. They're the ones with the fireball. So you've got the clerics down in Unclanaya trying to summon whatever, and these Enotian wizards show up and just raining fireballs on everybody. So you're like, fuck, I can't. What am I supposed to do? So,
totally.
That type of shit.
All right, so let's see. Now for a more serious question from Sparky. How big will the Dr. Pepper fridge be in the new warehouse? What about a chilled Dr. Pepper cave?
That'd be awesome. I'm going to put one fridge down there with a lock on it for me with Dr. Pepper in it. I'll have to put a lock on it because Dakota will drink Dr. Pepper without even thinking about it. He just, wherever there's a Dr. Pepper that's cold,
oh, yeah,
right. Drinks it. So it'll have to be locked.
It'll have to be locked. So it'll have to be locked. Just like you made a statement.
Well, we're not. I'm pretty easy on a lot of things, but on that, I'm not so very easy. So, a walk-in Dr. Pepper fridge, yes.
Hey, Macau, good to see you. The Brazilian community has arrived. Let's see. Our next question is from Rawgrath. What and when is your next crowdfunding campaign?
What was the question? I'm sorry, what?
Next crowdfunding campaign.
It looks like we are going to do one very soon. In about 3 weeks, we should launch. I'm hoping by tomorrow we'll begin advertising it. So I guess I can talk about it. But it's going to be the Adventurer's Backpack. We have been assembling the parts for that for a while, and I think we lack 6 pictures for the art to be done for the book, which is always kind of a hang up for us. The writing has been done for the book now. It needs to be edited and play tested and whatnot. But we'll be doing that over the next 60 days. The plan on this one is it will go to the printers within 2 weeks of the crowdfunding campaign of its completion. So I want it, if we launch June 1st, and that's tentatively the plan right now, we'll end June 25th or 6th or something like that. And by the 15th of July, it's at the printer. That is the plan. We're not going to sit on this one for months on end. It will come in and go out, and there won't be any stretch rewards offered that aren't completed for the campaign. So we're going to do this one a little different than previous ones. Okay. Let's see. Torlock says, "Is this info true? The Great Revolt of the Unclanayad, blah blah blah, unified under High Chieftainess Utsa, the Flame Bearer, the last remnants of the Unclanayad resist Unclar's rule. Revolt is heroic but doomed. Their warriors were broken and spellfire and ice beasts. The ruins of their civilization are left to rot, overgrown by centuries of jungle. Yes, absolutely. That would be, and there would be several of those revolts, much smaller than that, and that would spread out. And that's why I think Inclinite, it's probably why Chuck likes it so much, is, well, one, it's rich in Mesoamerican kind of, symbology, which is just, let's face it, it's badass. I mean, this stuff's just cool. And plus, they saw aliens, right? There were aliens down here. There's that guy on the sarcophagus guy who's clearly a spaceship guy. That whole kind of jungle environment, ruins, vines, the whole thing, it's all right there in Inclinite. So it's got that Conan feel to it. When Balette goes south, I believe, doesn't she get killed? I think Balette gets killed. She gets hung, but Balette's one of Conan's female,
she got
warrior.
killed, yeah, but I can't remember how.
I think she's hung by, I can't remember, but I believe someone out there will know, I guarantee you. Where's Jeremy?
He's hanging out.
There he is. She gets killed by a winged ape man. I knew Jeremy would come in and save the day. There you go.
Couldn't remember.
I don't want to spoil that story. I just did, clearly, but if you just go read it, it's a fantastic short story. One of his best.
Crazy Jose over on X asks, when will the starter set ship?
So I have flubbed that one, 6 Ways of Sunday, and that's the delay on it. I approved a quote for the box that was about 1.5 inches wider than it should have been, which would normally, if it was a 1/2 inch, I would have rolled with it, but I wouldn't. That's just crazy. Just put a pair of shoes in here.
And you, to your defense, you had no clue you were going to have to do it several times.
Well, that was the first quote. What I did, and the other thing that that has slowed that, and I'm not faulting the printer. This is great that they're doing that. They are required. So that took weeks to figure out, and the reason that it took weeks to figure out, because the emails back and forth and the sending of the proofs, they require that it's 3 levels of proofs now that they've had to mail to me. I signed off and mailed back. They wouldn't take like a verbal from me, and I understand why they do that. Because if something goes awry, and I say, well, I didn't really agree to it or whatever, then they're left holding the bag or whatever. So I get what they're doing, but it's in Ohio. Shipping proofs it's not cheap, but it's not just throw it in the box, whatever. 2 to 3 days to get there, 2 to 3 days to get back. So this has added like several weeks of just stuff shipping back and forth. Now, all of that is approved now. They will get my proof copy on Thursday. That's when it's scheduled to get there. My guess is by Monday next, they will be printing those, and they're telling me 4 weeks. So we're looking into June. Everything else is ready to go. We're looking into June for these things. So it's sad to say. They were supposed to be out in March, And I suspect a little bit, and I've been predicting this for a little while, for those of you who've been in and out of the stream, with the tariffs and whatnot, I suspect that we're beginning to see the slowdown of U.S. manufacturers as they get more and more customers, shifting from overseas manufacturers to U.S. manufacturers. It's just going to clog the system for a little while until companies like Troll Lord Games can get new facilities up and running. And for us, I signed a lease yesterday. We should have the new equipment in a week, but our building won't be ready probably for 3 months, I'm guessing. I think today was when the city council met to rezone stuff, so that should be taken care of. Hopefully construction starts by Monday, but they're talking 80 to 90 days to construct. So we're talking July or August or something.
So I figured August. I am a little nosy though. What's your plans on the equipment until then?
We're going to put it in the existing print shop. I've already informed Dakota we're going to gut the existing print shop, and everything that's not nailed down is going to be stored, because the new equipment is gigantic. And it's going to need room to breathe and all of that business. So it goes in there until the shop is up and running. And it shouldn't be a problem. It's going to take us months to kind of shake out the new supply chains as we adjust to new reality, which is, for Troll Lord Games, it's a great thing. We've always printed in the United States, and building this facility has been on the docket for at least 2 years. Been trying to figure out how to afford it, how to do this, how to do that, and I think we're now on deck to do it, which is good.
Okay. Next question is from Starlaw on YouTube. Is Amazing Adventures the Ruins of Innsmeet a sandbox adventure like Caves of Chaos?
Um, so the Ruins of Innsmeat, I did something a little different that I liked, and I don't know how it was received because I haven't really heard much feedback on it. It doesn't have any monsters in it. If you look at each of the houses in the Ruins of Innsmouth, it's got a place for you to scribble down monsters and treasure. And the idea, it's got here's the town, here's all of the things in the town, here's the history of the town, and here's the NPCs in the town. Now go. It's got a rings of brass in it, stuff like that. Now go make your own adventure, based loosely off of was it Descent into the Unknown? I think it was B1 Descent into the Unknown, which is one of my favorite adventures from the TSR days because it's this giant 2-level dungeon, one of the few dungeons I've ever run many times and throughout. I have probably never finished the whole thing, but because it never had any monsters in it. You had to plug your own monsters in there, which I always thought. I think there was some shriekers in one room, if I remember. But so that's sort of how the Ruins of Innsmeat is designed. So sandbox, yeah, I would say it's a sandbox. I think that's probably.
Yeah, you have to fit all the stuff in, which is cool. I guess the genre is a little different, obviously. But,
John would be a little bit different. Thank you for the drink, for sure. Portulus.
Let's see. Next up is from Odd One Man. What is the latest new thing?
Well, we got something kind of secret that we'll reveal probably Monday or Tuesday. No one in the company knows about it but me and Davis, so we'll see how that plays out. But the next thing on the docket that's new is the Saline Watershed. That is the section of this map here that covers Maine and the Massif. That will be rolling out in about 2 weeks. And of course, we're doing Amazing Adventures. And this week, we are doing Rings of the Red God for Amazing Adventures. So that should release tomorrow. I think that's a Wednesday release. So that'll be rolling out. I think we just put Bergman out. And then the next big thing that you'll see on your shelves is the Adventurer's Backpack. That's going to be crowdfunded and printed and be out by summer, without a doubt.
Well, I still have hopes that the starter set will be out before it. Maybe.
If I can go a week without fucking that up, sure.
You know.
Sure, as Davis would say.
Sure. Snuffy.
I'm confident the starter set will be out by June. I'm confident. All the shipping is done, so and my hands are off of it for the most part.
I think you need to have someone to look at the boxes again. Is what I think you need to do.
Probably.
Just joking.
I can look at them no more.
Snuffy 357 says, "Is there any news on Gary's World Builder books? The Canton Cruise seems really cool."
Yes, the Canton Cruise in layout right now. I approved the initial layout, which looks fantastic. So that one should actually come together, hopefully very quickly. Bill Edmonds and I have been batting around the title logo for each of the books. I semi-approved the title logo today. I asked him to do a second book to see how it's going to look on all of them because I kind of wanted to be dressed right dressed, even though the covers are different. What are we on? Names. The first 4 are ready for layout. The 5th one is in editing, and I think art's being done for the 10th one. Which is Wayland Smith catalog, and there's movement on Essential Places. What was going on with Essential Places? I think that's the last one that Dan's doing a read over. So it's coming together very quickly, which is very nice.
All right. Let's see. The Forgotten. It asked, "Is it possible to get the New Adventures Handbook for classes? Is that the character classes too, or is that different?" Oh, I think he's asking about the expanding classes. Someone else asked me about that. Yeah, they don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, the expanding classes was for the Kickstarter. One of the, I think, Armory. I can't remember. Yeah, so the Armory Kickstarter. But that material is being put in the Adventurer's Backpack, so and it'll be updated with all the new material that goes into the Adventurer's Backpack as well. Section 3 of 5 sections in the Adventurer's Backpack is the multi-classing expanded stuff. So you will see all of that in what's essentially the second player's handbook for Castles and Crusades, which is the Adventurer's Backpack. So you will get all of that stuff.
Oh, okay. There you go. So it's coming out for everybody, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Justin Ludlow asked, "What do you consider the most fun about CNC versus other TTRPG systems?"
It's the versatility, without a doubt. I absolutely love how no matter what your players do, you've got a ready-made mechanic that works, and it's very easy to allow them, one, to try that and to give them some chance of failure or success or whatever that you want to do. as a castle keeper, as a dungeon master, as a GM for many years. I watched players attempt to do innumerable things that are nowhere near their character sheet, and having that mechanic that allows me to resolve that quickly and encourages them to try those things without reservation is a great thing. So yeah, Statler, the Siege engine. Yeah, the Siege engine is without a doubt. I absolutely love that mechanic. I think that Davis and Mack knocked it out of the park when they created that. It is just a flawless RPG tool.
It's I will say something interesting about it. There's a lot of micro games out there and very less ruled structured than CNC. You've got the gambit all the way from, I don't know, we'll say 3.5 or Paizo all the way down to just imagine with your mind and not even rolling dice, right? But if you're looking for a game that has enough in it to be more than just a simplistic game, but yet easy to resolve, there you go. You know what I mean? Most of those games that you get that are very simple, they're great, but you don't have a lot of information. Ours comes like a normal.
No,
You know
and,
what I mean?
frequently the simplicity is counteracted by other stuff. I mean, there's some other good systems out there, but it's one of the joys that I've had in whatever heading to ship is stopping the design creep, because there's a design creep with RPGs to just keep adding stuff to it. I've got this great RPG, but if we just added this in the next printing or this in the next printing, and I've stopped all of that. So that's been an absolute joy to Davis's frustration, Mac's frustration, Jason's frustration, Mike Stewart's frustration, Jeremy's frustration, everybody's frustration. No, I love it. It's fun. My favorite word. No.
Quantos from YouTube says, "Hey Steven, I have a question. How come no stores in Michigan sell Castles and Crusades products?"
Well, I'll tell you what, I got a mission for you. If you will send us 2 names of 2 stores in Michigan, we'll get that taken care of. We got back into distribution about, a year ago, maybe 8 months ago, something like that. And Grace and Chuck and I had a meeting today about retailers, direct-to-retailer programs. So if you give us 2 stores, we'll reach out and see if we can't get them. There are no stores in Michigan, says Jeremy. Well, that's not good.
Well, shit.
Foiled again. That absolutely cannot be. So yeah, put 2 stores up here and see what we got. Alan's in the house. How's it going, Alan?
Hey Alan.
I think we've resolved everything with the palette, so we should get you a weight and stuff tomorrow. Should be good.
Let's see. Mobius 303 says, when is the estimated time for the PDF stuff to release from the castle? I think he's asking about Castle Zaggy, because I thought I saw a comment come across. I haven't looked at the comments on Kickstarter, but I think someone was asking about that. Or not.
I haven't quite decided yet. Part of me wants to go ahead and release the stuff that we have now in PDF, so that you guys can start playing immediately. I think that would be kind of cool. On the other hand, there's going to be some changes to it as we shift to Reforged. So if we give it to you now and there's, I don't know, a magic missile spell, that spell's in the printed version, and the version you finally get will be Magi's Missile or whatever. So there'll be these subtle changes. So I'm kind of torn on what I want to do with that. I will make that decision in the next week or so. We will get an update out to you guys on what's going on, because we've already, just to give you guys a quick update, Wesley Gardner's working on the portrait already. We've had a lot of emails back and forth about the portrait for Zagic himself, so that's in the works. Svetlana, I've given her all of the maps, everything that she needs to do, the 3 maps that she's going to do, which is the area map, the Yicksburg city map, and the city of Garm, and the village of Garm. She's going to start that, and she's got a couple of commitments before, but she's going to start that in July, and keep us updated, and we'll keep you guys updated. So that's already moving forward. I greenlit level 2, so that's done, and Mike is deep into level 3, writing that stuff. Peter's drawn up through level 4. So there's been a lot of progress made, even before and during and now after the Kickstarter. We'll get you guys updated. But as for the PDFs, I really can't decide what to do on it.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, we have been pretty good about the last few products dropping off alpha copies anyway for people to look at. So.
Yeah, and it sort of is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And you can start, and there's the changes between Reforged and not Reforged are not dramatic and make it in any way, shape, or form unplayable. So,
Let's see. Mr. Fuss has a comment and a question. He says, "Can you send a message out to the Brazilian Castles and Crusades community that's watching?"
So all the books went. We're very anxious to see the first copies of the in Portuguese coming out. So that's going to be absolutely badass, I think.
Wow.
And for everyone down there in Brazil playing Castles and Crusades, I hope that you can dive into this thing. And I know if you do, that you will realize how quick and fast it is to play any kind of scenario you want, and be very versatile and do all that stuff. And I'm confident that we can keep a lot of stuff flowing down into Brazil and seeing it in Portuguese, which would be absolutely, absolutely fantastic. And that will justify me going to Brazil, which I've always wanted to go to Brazil, which would just be badass. So I may have to take Davis with me, though.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
Let's see. Mr. Ask also, along with that, what is your favorite character class in Castles and Crusades?
Oh, a fighter.
Fighter.
It's always a fighter.
Always.
I just love human fighters. Probably dwarven fighters is my favorite, but human fighters are the second. I do like playing a good cleric, but my clerics are always war oriented and not healing oriented. I'm not going to get a lot of cure light wounds or any of that crap. You're on your own.
You're on your own. Too damn bad. All right. Anyway, let's see.
Rangers are cool classes now. Now, I will say, if you ever play in a game of mine, someone should be a ranger in that party. It's a very good idea.
Let's see. The Forgotten asks, is there a way to get the Adventurer's Handbook from the Kickstarter? Is it the same as the character classes too? Is it different, or should I wait for the reforged version of it? Oh yeah, I guess they're asking. I mean, the Adventurer's Backpack. I think that's what he's talking about. But he says Adventurer's Handbook. Oh, he's talking about expanding classes too. I got it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
no. We're not going to put that up for sale. That all of that material's already been rolled into the Adventurer's Backpack, so it'll go up on Backer Kit crowdfunding in a month, and then, like I said earlier, we're going to print it fast. So by July, it should be out. I suspect.
Sparky asks.
Right, Stadler, not Monk.
Not Monk. He says, when we might see Coburg the Undying statted out somewhere. That would be fun to do.
I've actually got him statted somewhere because years ago, there was this group of guys that got into Arid real big, and they created the Living Arid campaign. It was kind of based off of there's a Living Forgotten Realms campaign, Living Greyhawk, and then there's another one in there somewhere, I can't remember. But so they had built all this stuff, so they needed some of the high level NPCs statted out. So I statted Coburg somewhere, and I had a picture of him drawn.
Yeah, we've got that picture, unless you've got a different one that I don't know about.
This was a different one. Now, that one that appears in that Zoe did, that appears in Undying War, is absolutely.
I love it. You know what it reminds me of? I don't think you will probably know this. You might know this, but did you ever read much of what was it? Shit. It's like the very first really big series about generation ships. It's got the Foundation in it and all that. I can't think of what it's called now.
Heinlein stuff?
The what?
Heinlein
stuff? Not Heinlein. It was I just watched the show. They had on Apple the show Foundation. I can't think of it. I mean, they did a little alternate take, that goes. But the point of the matter is, in that there's this mutant that shows up in the middle of this long, drawn out thing, and he is called the Mule, and he has the ability of psionic powers to affect people's choices to follow him. He can force people just to follow anything. But the point is, the way he's described and the way he's pictured on one of the books looks just like Coburg. It's driven me crazy. Every time I see that, that's all I think about is that. Yeah, the Foundation series. Asimov. Jesus, I could not think. Yeah.
I was watching some show the other day. It was about a year ago, probably now. That had this demon in it, and it looked like something I had written up for Abstract. I mean, spot on. It was really funny. Let's see. So I see in the comment section here that there is a store called Border Keep Games.
Yeah, I wrote all that down for you too. I got it.
Oh, you did? Good deal. All right,
yeah.
Good deal.
I missed nothing.
Then we will reach out tomorrow and see if we can't get something going.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Let's see.
The Foundation series good? Is it worth watching?
Oh well, the show's show's all right. Yeah, we watched all the way through. I mean, I'm a hard case for his books, and I love that series in particular. So for me to watch every last one of them says it's all right. I mean, it's not exact, of course. Nobody ever does it exact, but the books are like this thick, so there's that too. So
I've never read any.
oh,
Asimov.
you should read it, man. It's wonderful
Yeah, I
stuff.
don't think I had. I don't think I've ever read. I've
You'd
read
like
some
it.
Heinlein. Heinlein was okay. I didn't really get into it too much, but I don't think I've ever read Asimov.
Yeah, yes, it's a good series to read because it kind of really brings you in. You would enjoy it for sci-fi. You would like it.
Oh, Jeremy, I don't need to read iRobot. I saw that movie, iRobot. That
I'm just waiting over here for the explosion. Or whatever.
the explosion.
Or whatever, right? Exactly. Let me get some of these questions to you. We got quite a few. Let's see. Klatos from YouTube says, "I have another question. When's the other half of A13 series coming out?"
So I am working on A18 right now. Jeremy finished reforging A13 through A17 last week or 2 weeks ago or whatever, and I haven't decided how to put those into the schedule. It's really, we need to sit down, the company needs to sit down and figure out what we're going to do with those. Because A13 through A17 are ready to go. These are the decisions that we have to decide on. One, they probably need another, just a sweep to make certain that elements that I brought in the past couple of years are covered, especially with the Codex Infernum. Two, we have to decide if we want to do each one as an individual module or do them as groups of 5. There's pluses and minuses to that. If we do them as one individual module, it's easier on y'all's end because you've got these 5 levels. However, it'll slow down the next releases because we'll have to have A18, 19, 20, 21, 22 done. And I'm plowing through A18 very fast. I don't think I'll be done by Friday, which was my target, but it'll probably be like Monday or Tuesday. I'll be done with A18 and then plunge into A19. But even so, we're talking kind of elongated stuff. So we just kind of have to decide how we want to do these releases on these on the abstract books.
Okay, all right.
Still, that Plains book goes hand in hand with abstract. I'm kind of back on where I was back when the OGL mess broke out in 2023 because I was writing abstract and the Planescapes at the same time. Because they're supposed to go kind of hand in hand since abstract is sort of extra planar. So the Planescapes book is very, very much on the forefront of my mind.
Okay, let's see. I just started. This is from Alan, actually. Let me give Alan a little shout out there for his company anyway. I just started reading Adventurer's Armory, and I noticed the damage for clubs is reduced from the D6 into PHB. I was wondering why. Apologies if this has been covered before. And we've had a few other people ask some questions about a few things. Yes, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, so Alan, that for Davis specifically, and Jeremy, and a few others, the club in Castles and Crusades is grossly overpowered. It's a free weapon that you can just pick up anywhere, and it does the same amount of damage as most swords. So and when Davis revisited it, he restatted the damages. Now, I think, let me check. I'm pretty sure we cut the damage down in the player's handbook like 1 to 2 or something. Jeremy, do you remember offhand? I can't remember.
Page 7 of the Adventurer's Army you have for coverage. Because remember, page 7 is what we talked about.
We did not. It is still 1d6.
Yeah.
We put the word heavy on it. So it's a heavy club. Right. And I thought we'd cut that down. Boy, don't tell David that. His head will explode.
Well, and like Jeremy pointed out, like we talked about the other day, page 7 explains to folks, there's going to be a few differences that's not exact. And there's reasons for that.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you look at page 7, and there are some differences between the books and whatnot. If you got to be a rule stickler, always follow what the player's handbook says. That's the core. That's the book. That's the guide. Use it. But the Armory book is to give. It gives you just a wide plethora of stuff. And when Davis was designing the damages, it went this way and that way. But yeah, it's all explained there. Heavy Metal Club, how much damage is for a mosh pit? Yeah.
All right, so Player Son, what's up, buddy? Question. This is the Dr. Cooler Man, Dr. Pepper Cooler Man. Oh, let me say that.
Not yet, Grace, but we will, I'm sure. Go ahead, Chuck.
Can you see a magic wand with a spell of 7th level if you are of a lower level? Can you use a magic wand with a spell of 7th level if you are of lower level?
Yes.
I mean, you can certainly try.
Yeah. It might not go the way you want it to, but I mean, if you're a first level guy, you pick up a wand and it's got fireball on it, and you got the command word. Have it.
Yeah. Kevcon asks, are there any news on your plans for Gord, the rogue?
Yeah, so we've got permission from the court to do gourd. There was some weird legal stuff that came across my desk today that I do not understand exactly what it means. So I'm going to have to actually bring a lawyer involved and figure out what's going on. It has something to do with Hasbro, so we got to cover all those
God
bases.
bless.
Yeah, so until that's resolved, I'm not going to say too much more, but we will release these either with partnership with another publishing company or ourselves. There's a whole bunch of things on the table I'm talking to Luke about. But we will I don't think there's going to be a problem releasing it. We just got to do some legal stuff. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what it all means.
Let's see. This is from Phantom, New Jersey. Question: other than Arcane Thief, which we've talked about previously, are there any other adventures backpack classes that are seeing significant changes? Well, let me interject. There
Yes.
probably is, and Steve will answer that. But he's also waiting on me to get my shit together, which I'm gonna go through this week and curate all that shit out of the Discord. I got to get all that to you too.
So I went in and added all the high level, so everything goes to 24th level now. That's the first thing that I did, and I went through and I read each of the abilities. Now we've we've played through like a 4-year campaign and everyone had a character from the Adventurer's Backpack. Aiden may have been a rogue, but I think he was a thief. But so the only character that I can think of offhand that I had to fix the arcane thief, I added that adjustment to, and the oath sworn. The oath sworn, the way it was written, allowed you by X level to do a critical hit each round, and that was fixed, and that was a pretty easy fix. The ethereal knight, we added. I added a notation on the ethereal knight that this one, no other class actually can plane shift except the cleric. There's only it's a planar travel spell, and the only other class that can do that is I think it's a 7th level cleric. I think it's a 5th level spell is what I recall. And no other class in Castles and Crusades actually has a spell of plane shift. The wizard has gate, but there's no plane shift spell. So the ethereal knight has that, but we changed it to planar shift. I kept it plane shift, but it's written like the planar shift in the book and in the spells, and it acts like that. So if you do a plane shift to another plane, you can do that once a day, and you can only go by yourself. So if you're going to take your ethereal knight and you're going to plane shift to hell now because you can, then you're going to be there alone for 24 hours until you can plane shift back. And that's, that comes with an incumbent danger, obviously. And that's up to the player. If they want to do that, carry on at 3rd level. But significant changes, I think the oath sworn, and it's really just a rewriting. And it's a rewriting so that it was written, so that it's by its intent, not by the way it was actually presented. But good deal, Agile. I'm glad that came through. But I'm waiting to get notations from Jeremy and Chuck on what they had found in the thing.
Yeah.
So the oath one's the only one that I've seen pretty big. Not even big, but clarification.
All right. Snuffy357 asks question: spell cards?
Those are on Chuck's and Grace's desk.
Not. You moved them to Jason, might I add.
Jason who?
They.
I don't have any memory of that.
Yeah, because he was like, "Oh, I can do him," because he did some other cards. Remember you? That's why
I greenlit those 17 years ago.
I know.
And
you should ask him about it. Say, "Where's the spell card?" He'll be like,
I forgot. I think you're right. I do remember that.
Yeah. But they're on the list. Yeah, 2 weeks. Let's see.
2 weeks. Yeah.
Dread Monkey Lord asks, Trollzos, Stephen. Aaron has the most awesome creation story I've ever seen in the TTRPG world, I guess. Absolutely epic. And I have to concur with him. It blew my mind when I finally got my head around all that. It was great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are running out of time slowly, so I'm going to combine some of these. He's got one more question here. And he asks, where there are inconsistencies between gear and weapons, can the next printing of the player's handbook be brought in line with the Adventurer's Armory?
I'd have to look at them. The only one, and the question would be, the armory would have to be brought in line with the player's handbook. The only one that I've seen, that I've been told of one and seen one, one was the Maul. Now I've forgotten it. I think it was the Maul.
And the longsword, I think it was, or something like that.
Well, it was the heavy crossbow. Davis put in in the player's handbook, the heavy crossbow has a range or a rate of fire every 2 rounds and does 1d10 points of damage. The
Yeah.
only crossbow in the armory book that does 1d10 points of damage has a 1 for every 5, and that needs to be like that. So when we do another printing on the player's hand or on the armory book, we will bring those up to speed with the player's handbook.
Okay. Let's
Oculus,
see.
I have not tried the blackberry Dr. Pepper. No,
And he won't.
I stick with just the one.
He's not Rick. He's not brave like me. I'll try it. I did try it, and it's. But anyway, yeah. Vindici asks, question, any ETA on when the Amazing Adventures Indiegogo backers will get the updated modules and fiction?
Yes, so there's two items missing from that. I can't remember. It's Reigns of the Red God, and that'll be tomorrow.
Oh, Amazing Adventures. Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm in the right.
Yeah. And then Jeremy, nope, not Jeremy. Jason is
Yes.
finishing. He may have finished it today. He was on target to have it done soon, and he had extra time today. So I'm hoping I did the fiction today. He was working on that this past week or so. So with this month being Amazing Adventures, the goal is to have all of that stuff out this month, so that it's that Indiegogo, even the PDFs for that Indiegogo are done and complete. So very soon.
Odd One Man asks, there is so much happening now. What is the coolest being now that you think for the two of you?
I honestly, I think the two things that I'm the most keen on at this moment. Now, asking me tomorrow, it may be very different, but I'm most keen on this Adventurers Backpack being expanded 24th level, because that really, it closes that door. We're done with that book, which is very, very nice. And then the building has me the most interested. The building I'm very excited about. It's going to be nice to have a nice, new, clean, domicile to put Trollord in.
Agile Monk asks, oh, yes, you can use this email to communicate with me, Agile. I'm using 2 different emails, but for outside communications, that will work just fine. Let's see.
We are running out of time. I got to cover it, but the Forgotten, dude, that's a badass idea with the spell cards. That's badass.
I got it down. I'll have to catch it and read it later. I think
you cast your spell into a card, throw it, and then it activates. That's cool. I like it. That's a rune mark thing to do.
That's what I was getting ready to say. We need to put that in.
Yeah, that's because rune marks can write their rune spells on.
That's things. Right.
You can write it. Yeah, like you said, Gambit. Gambit's the X-Men that does that.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Sparky asks, "What level is Coburg?" LOL.
Very, very high. The cool thing about Coburg, he's in I can't remember. It's like 25th or 24th level or something.
Yeah.
Coburg, you've got to remember when you're playing him. If you guys are ever running Coburg, the Outstretch stuff, he is a coward. He is a just baseline coward. He doesn't like to fight. He doesn't want to lose, and he will give up everything as opposed to die. So if you throw 5 20th level characters up against him, he's not even going to pretend to fight. If he doesn't know how powerful you are, he's not going to pretend to fight. He is a coward, and you should play him like a coward. That's his thing. That sounds like a politician.
Let's see. Player Sum, Adam says there are 2 stores in Amarillo. Our day 2 cards, games, and Cream Quest. Could we get them to carry Castles and Crusades? Well, I'll give him the stuff, and we'll
reach out tomorrow. It's funny that everyone's bringing this up. We had this meeting this afternoon.
I know, that's just so weird. It's like everybody was listening in or something. That's cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bang's Naughty Bits. From YouTube asks.
On that point. No.
What would be a good overview book for Air for a GM or player just touching the setting for the first time?
I would get the Trail Guide. The Trail Guide to Air. Yeah, the Trail Guide to Air is a fiction piece, and it basically, I think it's about maybe 150 pages, something like that, and it's a novel. And it's this journal that a traveler wrote for the Archbishop of Heimstadt, I think, and he begins in like one part of the realms, and he wanders all over, and it's just his journal entry on who these people are and what's going on, with a little bit of adventure tied up into it. There's some river crossings, stuff like that. So it's fiction, easy to read, and get you just a taste of what's in the set.
Right. This is from Commander Jace Lloyd on YouTube. Did the pre-order starter sets get produced yet? Oh, we talked about that earlier, but go ahead, Steve.
Hopefully, no, they have not been produced. I goofed up the quoted box mess, and it turned out a disaster. That's all been fixed, but we're looking at probably June at this point.
Yeah. Donkey Juice asks.
I only use inker jotters.
he literally has. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing about pens. That's absolutely right.
Inker jotters.
Commander,
this is my Troll Lord bonus from last year. I got an orange inker jotter.
Well, let's see. Commander Jace Lloyd asked, I already asked that. Doggy Juice asked, I know it's always up to the CK, but a general rule, does protection from normal missiles work against generic magic bows and other enchanted missiles?
That's a good question. What would I do? So if someone said that if the bow is magical, but they shoot a normal missile, yeah, I think I'd let that it would protect them against it. If the bow is non-magical and the arrow was magical, maybe an attribute check. No, I'd probably have it because it's a normal missile. It's just enchanted. I'd let it fly. Yeah.
Yeah. Clontos asks on YouTube, how many pages are in the new Reforged Adventures backpack going to have in it, you think?
I'm guessing about 144, though it may be one signature up, which is 144 plus 16, whatever that is. I'm not sure what that sounds. 160, I think that's so 144 to 160 is where I'm landing.
Okay.
I'm guessing.
All right. Well, I think it's about that time for us to wrap up. I know we're ready to go get supper. It's already almost time. So yeah. So if you ain't got last words, we'll get that. One last question. We'll get there for Forgotten. He's got a crazy ass idea anyway.
What is it? Another class I think Steven would like would be the Puppeteer. It's like blood bending with the guy from Naruto with the mom. God, I gotta watch that movie with the mom and dad puppets. You control your enemies. Oh, that would be very
wow.
cool.
That's terrifying.
That sounds like something that needs to be in the Alfstrad is what that sounds like.
Right. So we'll be back later on this evening, I believe. Grace will have her crew, right?
Yes.
And
the
I'll put up a little. The Charisma Cats will be here up. There's a little ad for it there next to Steven. You guys, they'll be live at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Come by and see them. Hang out. You can affect the story with some of the boons and the subs and stuff in the game if you want to mess around with it and just hang out. It's a good time. And then we'll be back again Thursday evening for our weekly Troll Roundup, just hanging out with the community. And then Friday morning, I'll be here doing another sort of hangout AMA while I work and do whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of it. That's all we've got.
Thank you all for coming out today. This was a great session. Sir, appreciate it. Thank Gold Republic, Justin Ludaw, Agile Monk, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right.